Yeah, I do. But on that front, I mean, if guys were to come in, I don't know, obviously there's days left to go. If guys come in that meet what the manager always talk about, the value both, or adding value to the current team, both on and off the pitch, then great. But again, that's stuff that the manager and above I'll decide between now and then. But I certainly do think that the current group through there is more than worthy of going on to win this league. Yeah.
Have you been impressed by the recruitment in particular that Hibs have made in this month?
I thought you were going to say the recruitment we've made, but I certainly have been with us. I think the manager and the board have done tremendously well on that front, and the players that we brought in and done really, really well. I think it's fairly evident the quality these guys have shown, and I think for me it's not just the stuff they've done on the pitch, it's the fact that the value they've added in the dressing room. They've been great guys to work with. Their attitudes are second to none, so it's been really, really pleasing. To dodge your question.
Hibernian have made a splash though, so they've strengthened. It looks like they're really going to try and push to challenge you, so you can appreciate that challenge, can't you?
I think to mirror again everything the manager will say when he speaks before you, that I only talk about Rangers and how if players come in, how they can affect us moving forward, and players that I can potentially be working with, training hard with, to go and take us back to where we want to be playing football. Of course we're aware of what's going on elsewhere, but I think all that we can focus on as players is how Rangers can move forward and how we can improve.
Does it feel like the team is now kind of rediscovered its groove a little bit? There was a little bit of a wobble, you could say, before that Hibs game. Does it feel like you're back at the top of your game now?
Yeah, I'd say so. Probably since the defeat to Falkirk, obviously. I think the perceived blip or wobble, whatever you want to call it, we knew that we were still doing well in these games. Obviously the results weren't to how we would have liked. I think that we've certainly got together after that defeat, and we looked in over analysis. We got out there on the training pitch and we tried to put things right. So we've certainly done that. I think that the manager talks a lot about the football geography, basically meaning our shape, maintaining our shape and using it and keeping players in the required positions. I felt probably in that perceived wobble, as you've called it, we maybe lost our shape a wee bit. So we certainly have put that right. We're keeping a good defensive structure in place while we're attacking, which has been there to see again. I think that's hugely important, because we know we're a really attacking side, really expansive side that want to dominate the ball and have goals coming for all angles. But equally we need to make sure that we're defensively solid. So I think that was a criticism I remember at the time, or again in your perceived dip, that we were a wee bit open or a bit easy to play against. But I think we have done our best and worked really hard to try and nullify that while still being really attacking and scoring goals. So it's certainly something that we're no resting on. We want to keep improving that side, both attacking and defending, and I think we're slowly getting there. But the training levels are great. The guys have been, I think the manager's touched upon it as well, that the training levels have been very consistent, and I think for us as players it's down to us to ensure that continuity in the cycle, day in, day out, week in, week out, that we come in, we leave the building better than we came in. And if we do that between now and the end of the season, we'll be in a right good place.
Have those small changes affected you personally? I think it was Kenny the other night said you've tweaked things here and there to stop teams countering as successfully as they maybe were earlier in the season. Does that involve you and James specifically? Because I know you guys are very much trying to be an attacking threat as well.
No, yeah, we definitely come under that category, and I think me and Tav will maybe be the first to admit we've maybe got a wee bit too adventurous in that period. Probably more so in the fact that when teams were making it difficult for us with our low block defensive structures, we probably felt the need to go and run and attack and underlap and overlap, whereas I think we maybe had a wee look at it now that we need to keep our numbers good while we're attacking. So we've got that. It's been heavily involved in our training, heavily involved in our analysis, and I think it's important that we do strike that balance, because as I said, we know we're strong going forward, and we know we're strong at the back, but we need to make sure that we maintain the numbers, and we've got a good solid defensive structure while we're attacking.
A lot of the focus, just Falkirk this weekend, a lot of the focus obviously at the start of the season was on yourselves and Hibs. Do you feel Falkirk are they punching above their weight? Are you surprised that they're still within touching distance?
No, probably not. I mean, of course, guys have been talking about Falkirk have been going under the radar, doing their work quietly, and I think that has been the case. But the fact is, they're up there with the two of us, and it's good. It's nice that there's another challenge there. We knew at the start of the season a lot of the talk would have been, or the focus would have been on ourselves and Hibs. But Falkirk and teams like Morton have done ever so well to get themselves where they are. So of course, all credit to them.
Is there a feeling like after that Falkirk defeat just before Christmas that there's a sense that you feel like you owe them a result after that?
No, I don't think so. I think Falkirk, we look to the weekend, Falkirk are just another opponent that stands in our way, getting 3 points. That's the only way we'll look at. We understand, obviously, we got beat the last time. Of course, we want to put that right, that's only natural. We'll be playing in front of a packed Ibrox crowd again, which is always great. We'll relish the responsibility, we'll relish the pressures, and we'll look to send them home happy, as we always do every single time we take to the pitch. So it's just another opponent for us that we'll be looking to make sure we maintain our levels. We know that if we do that, then we'll be fine.
The manager just said, talking about Andy's red card, yellow card on Monday night, he was talking about they'll be sending off some emails looking for some clarification on exactly how that decision was reached. Until you get that clarification, are you saying to the rest of the guys, just watch what you're doing when you're celebrating? Is it just take no chances, essentially?
Well, I think certainly now that the decision's been made, of course it's natural for us to do that as professionals, and I think we know as players that on one hand you can't overdo it with the celebrations. I mean, the referees and police come in earlier in the season and they discussed the safety procedures. We're well aware that the taking your top off or any of the types of celebrations will merit a yellow card, but equally there's also got to be a common sense factor in that you have to be passionate. Andy's a born and bred Rangers fan, we all know that. The fact that Barry scored a great goal, he's celebrating, and again I didn't see it in full, even with the clips back on BT I've not seen it in full, but Andy's a passionate man, and we have to preach that type of passion in the game, albeit without stepping over the mark. But again, we don't know if Andy's done that or not, and as you say, I'd imagine there has to be a bit of clarity, because moving forward it's a real shaky one for the officials and the guys above, so we'll kind of all need a bit of clarity on that.
I take it from that what you're saying is you're not aware of what you can and can't get away with. Nobody's really ever sort of come and laid it out. Can you get away with a fist pump even if you're just looking?
No. We're fully aware of the do's and don'ts, as I said there at the start, with taking your top off, or certain gestures where you're maybe raising your hand to your ear, or the sort of shushing motion towards opposition fans, and in the sort of the area that the fans are, the away support is. Andy was in the middle of the pitch at that point, so I think again there might need to be a bit of clarity on where and when and how and all this type of stuff. But again, that's no for me to probably discuss, or managers. I think it's just down to the officials, John Fleming's, guys like that, and hopefully they can find a solution for it all.
I think it was said that I think the manager said that he felt that he'd been told that Andy's gesture could have incited a riot. I mean, do we need to think, well, players, a fist pump, the fans have a thicker skin? Is it, if that's going to set you off, if that's going to, incite something, then players can't really be held responsible for that.
Of course, I mean, we as players just receive a lot worse than, as you're saying there, a fist pump or a gesture or a celebration. We certainly receive a lot more than that, but it's part and parcel. We're thick-skinned, we know that happens. We know that every single time we take to an away venue, we're going to get. We know that every single time we take to the street, we're going to get. It's a 24/7 lifestyle for us. We know that we're going to get abuse and all that type of stuff. But on the pitch, I mean, I don't know. I mean, as I said, the referees will need to come to an agreement to what can be done in terms of the celebration of goals. Of course, we know that you can't jump into crowds. As I said before, the certain gestures that we know that merit yellow cards, and players know themselves they're going to rile opposition supporters, and I think a number of times we've had it done to ourselves. I've seen it when opposition teams score goals, but it's not something that we're going to moan about on that front. It happens, and in this case, obviously for us, we've suffered now because we lose a key player in Andy, who's done tremendously well since he's came in. He's really low. I spoke to him this morning about it in the warm-up at the training session, and he's a bit down because of the whole situation. So we're all behind him, obviously. We'll be there for him, and I'm sure he'll be back stronger and ready to go.
It's the second sort of harsh decision he's had to go against him. Is he feeling like he's been picked on or anything like that?
No, I don't think he'll feel like that. He is a thick-skinned boy, as you've said. He's a wee bit down at the minute, just probably more so because he's missing a game of football. And he wants to train every day, and he wants to play every game. He doesn't want to miss a minute of his football, especially playing for the club that he loves, on this journey that we've got to try and get ourselves back to, as we say along, where we should be playing our football. So he is low, but he'll be making sure that he's getting himself ready for the next game that he can play in.